Good evening. Welcome to all of you for being here. The Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District Board of Trustees is now convened in a regular board meeting on Monday, December 10th, 2018 in the boardroom of the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District Instructional Support Center located at 10,300 Jones Road, Houston, Texas at 6 p.m. I want to welcome the members of the audience and our television viewers to this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As a Cypress-Fairbanks Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on tonight's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by sections 551.071 and 551.084 of the Texas Government Code. These proceedings are airing live on CFTV Channel 16 and CFTV online on the district website. They will also be rebroadcast throughout the month on Channel 16 and available as video on demand on the website. For the tape to adequately reflect the proceedings, I respectfully ask you to please refrain from talking while others are speaking, and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. I just did mine. I hope everybody's cell phone is turned off. Don? Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening and for your interest in the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District. I would also like to take this opportunity to recognize our community leadership committees who are in attendance this evening. Julie Heineman, would you stand up? There's Julie. Thanks for coming. And also like to introduce our Boy Scouts. And we have two Boy Scouts. Would you all both stand? Logan Furr with Scout Troop number 10. And where is that? Copperfield. Okay, thank you. And Parth Tawari with Scout Troop number 329. Where are you from, bud? Okay. Thank y'all for being here. The invocation for tonight's board meeting will be given by Reverend Joseph Camarillo, Senior Pastor of the Life Family Church in Cypress. Life Family Church partners with Blythe Elementary School, where they do an awesome job of supporting staff and students, including Christmas adoptions, holiday meals for families, school supply donations, encouraging notes and treats for the staff. Reverend Camarillo has counseled many of our families and students through difficult issues. Reverend, we appreciate your ongoing commitment to our district and community, and we thank you for being here tonight. The AFJROTC cadets who will be presenting the colors this evening are from Cy-Fair High School. Cadet Captain Aiden Mahoney is carrying the United States flag. Cadet Captain Jacob Posada is carrying the Texas flag. And the AFJROTC guards are Cadet Major Fatima Medina and Cadet Second Lieutenant Frederick Tran. Our cadets this evening are under the direction of Senior Master Sergeant Michael Claiborne and Captain Scott Thomas. At this time, I would ask you to stand for the invocation first and then the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Dear loving Father, thank you for your many blessings. Thank you for life itself, and thank you for our family and friends that bring joy to our journey. Thank you for giving us the measure of health that we need to fulfill our life purpose. Thank you for the opportunity to be involved in meaningful and lasting work, and for the honor of serving our community. In your sacred writings, you teach us that citizens ought to obey the governing authorities. It also says that we ought to pray for our officials, that we may live a quiet and peaceable life. Therefore, I pray for our superintendent and for our school board officials, and I'm asking you that you would graciously grant them wisdom in dealing with the agendas at hand, confidence to do what is right for our district, the ability to work together in unity even when there are genuine philosophical differences, and peace in their lives and joy in their callings. Lastly, I pray that you would keep every student, faculty member, and staff safe at all times and at every occasion. In your holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Well, since I don't get to talk very much tonight, I get to read the vision and mission statement. So, the vision statement: learn, empower, achieve, dream, and the acronym is LEAD. The mission statement: maximize every student's potential through rigorous and relevant learning experiences, preparing students to be 21st century global leaders. We will now move on to the special recognitions portion of the agenda. Dr. Henry.
Thank you, Mr. Covey. Andrew Way, President and CEO of Exterran Corporation, and company representatives visited Lee Elementary School on November 15th, surprising the school staff and announcing the Houston-based oil and gas production company's Adopt-a-School partnership with the campus. CFISD's Adopt-a-School program pairs schools with community and business partners to utilize resources of the community to strengthen and enrich the quality of education for students. CFISD has expanded iConnect initiative in the West Houston mobile home community and Wyman mobile home community, and seeing CFISD students are given access to secured Wi-Fi connections for devices provided by the district. Students in both communities may now check out Chromebooks from the school libraries to access the secured Wi-Fi connection. This service is provided by CFISD thanks to the Technology Lending Grant, a Title IV grant, and a partnership with Layer 3 Communications. Congratulations to the Cy-Fair High School Symphonic Band and the CFISD Honor Clarinet Choir for being chosen to perform this month at the Midwest Clinic in Chicago, Illinois. Midwest Clinic is the largest music convention in the world with over 17,000 participants, representing all 50 states and 30 foreign countries. An invitation to perform at this clinic is one of the highest honors that a high school music group can receive. The Cy-Fair Band is under the direction of Mark Veenstra, John Nelson, Alma Cantu, and Michael McConnell. They are one of only 5 high school bands from across the nation invited to perform at this year's conference. The CFISD Honor Clarinet Choir is comprised of 19 clarinet players from 9 different high schools within our district. They are directed by Mark Edenfield and Shirley Holstein. This group is one of only 2 high school chamber groups selected to perform at this year. This is the 5th time that groups from Cypress-Fairbanks will perform at the Midwest Clinic. We wish these students the best as they travel to Chicago to represent Cypress-Fairbanks ISD. Cypress Creek High School and Cy-Fair High School concluded their football season Saturday, December 8th at NRG Stadium. This was the 2nd consecutive season Cypress-Fairbanks ISD has advanced 2 teams to the regional championship round, and the 4th time in 5 years the district has had a representative reach that round. It was truly a memorable season. Thank you and congratulations to all of our talented students. Thank you, Mr. Covey.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. And now we'll move on to the board comments portion of the agenda. 2A, any board member may make a comment during this portion of the agenda without prior posting being required. Comment items may not pertain to the character of any students, staff, or board member and may not be discussed or deliberated upon at this meeting. Do any of the board members have anything they would like to share? I'm looking. Tom?
Since our last meeting, I've made numerous stops, primarily on the political front. I attended the CLC meeting, as I often try to do, and listened to Representative-elect Harless and also Dr. Michelle Smith. Dr. Michelle Smith was formerly with the Fast Growth Coalition. She's now with Raise Your Hand Texas. She remains highly knowledgeable on all legislative matters that impact public education. I also attended the elected officials reception, the Chamber of Commerce Government Committee meeting, which featured Representative Schofield, and the Christmas party with several of my colleagues with Dr. Tom Oliverson, Representative Dr. Tom Oliverson, who showcased our culinary arts students as they catered the event. As always, I pushed the CFISD approved legislative agenda and continually voiced my opposition to the Dallas plan, which is tying salary to test scores. I oppose it because it doesn't work on a sustainable basis and has very severe, unanticipated consequences. I also pushed for recognition of the other recapture. We all know about Robin Hood recapture, but there's a very real recapture that impacts this school district to the tune of $63 million. And I'm pleased that for the first time I heard an elected official from Austin raise this point in a public meeting. That was Representative Schofield, who acknowledged that this district did in fact make a pact with the state government down in Austin, whereby we would be held partially harmless if this additional exemption was granted. And then, of course, when hard times came, the state of Texas took away the promise because they couldn't pay, but the penalty for it remains. I hope that our other elected officials will also sound the clarion call. $63 million is a very large number indeed. I had 3 scheduled school visits, delivering cupcakes, 2 of which that I need to go back. But I have to indicate I had a very strong visit at Millsap with Principal Dauphin. This school of almost all distinctions is one of our blended school pilot programs featuring EDGE teachers. Blending requires a technology emphasis where connectivity works for every access, and on this campus it does. So a tip of the hat to all of those who were responsible for spreading and upgrading technology to our campuses. It also reminds me of my comment I made last board meeting regarding supply chain concepts as it relates to education. If you take a look at Millsap, which received almost all distinctions, it flows into a middle school that received all distinctions and flowed into a high school that received all distinctions. We see this in athletics, but what's interesting about this school district is that this school district makes it work for academics as well. I spread a little formative American history sprinkled with patriotism at Feast and Robeson. Students have fun living a little bit of history during colonial days here in Cy-Fair, and I salute the district for keeping this tradition alive for over 30 years. And once again, I taught curriculum enrichments for 7 classes in a sister district. I believe every elected official who passes laws touching education should spend at least 1 day teaching in a classroom. It clarifies your understanding, although I think my colleague teaches enough for everybody on this board. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Christine, do you have something?
No, I'm good.
You sure? A thought? Not even a thought?
Oh, a thought. Okay, a thought. Sorry, like the 18 kindergartners take all the thoughts out of me during the day. But and I'm glad you called me Christine, because if I hear Miss Hartley anymore, I'll go inside. Just, Merry Christmas to everybody. Have a great break. Teachers, treat yourself, spoil yourself. We are so appreciative of all the work you do. Thanks.
Okay. On this end, we're kind of quiet tonight. Okay. Do what? Yes. Is that okay?
Yeah, I was making sure you're going to do what I tell you to do.
Gary, would you stand up a minute? Mr. Gary Durenberger is retiring this month after being with us for 33 years. I know in the 14 years I've been on the board, I've never seen a man that covers the district as well as Gary does, taking pictures, and he's always, it seems like, at every single event. I don't know if there was somebody cloned you and had you running around, but I know it's going to be kind of a sad part on our part not to see you around. I think you may get bored and you want to come back and just, pitch in for fun. But I would like to, from the board, say thank you for your service to Cy-Fair.
Hey, since Gary, did anybody get a picture of Gary? Because he's just taking the pictures.
Joel did.
Joel did.
Okay, there you go. All right, good deal. Good job, Joel.
Just a very brief bit from me, because I did get to visit Bang and Dean and Frazier, Erwan Wilson at Bang, and Dr. Heather Bergman at Dean, and Gloria Vasquez at Frazier. And I got to go in and sit on an A-team meeting. And that's a lot of fun to go in there and hear how they're preparing and what they're doing. And I'm always impressed with the devotion they've got to those students and what a great job that they do. And if you don't know, then our entire board, we divide up the district and we all get to go visit different schools each year. And I know that Darcy told me she's already finished her 16, 17, one more to go. But it's just amazing what this board, and I'm very proud that they do and they continue to do this. And I know when we go into these schools, we are welcomed, and it's just really great to see those students working. And then just a little personal enjoyment. Hoover, I got to play a part and visit with the students, and I was wearing red and white, but it was a lot of fun. So it's always great to be around those students, and Hoover is pre-K, K, first and second, right? Is that right? And my gosh, those kids are full of energy, so it's a lot of fun. Okay.
Bob,
now- yes,
you were wearing red and white?
I was.
You were a candy cane?
I was. I was. I don't want to dispel any theories, so. We will now move on to citizen participation portion of the agenda, and for some odd reason, we don't have any participation tonight. So we get to move ahead unless we have a volunteer, so we're going to go on. The board will now proceed with the consensus agenda items portion of the agenda. Item 4, the agenda items under consensus. 4A, the board will consider approving the tax refunds of $500 or greater for Cypress-Fairbanks ISD. Are there any questions for Stuart Snow tonight? Anybody? Okay. 4B, the board will consider approving the minutes of the November 12th, 2018 regular board meeting. Anyone have any questions or statements for Holly? Nope, we're good. 4C, the board will consider awarding bids and contracts and or authorizing purchase orders as recommended in the posted agenda items. Automotive chemicals, parts and supplies. Number 2, central packaging for nutrition services. Number 3, cleaning supplies for nutrition services. Number 4, CTE vocational lab supplies, equipment, and housewares. Number 5, electric service, bucket and lift truck service. Number 6, fine arts supplies. Number 7, fleet maintenance and repair, nutrition services. Number 8, musical instrument repair. Number 9, interior and exterior identification signage. And number 10, small wares for nutrition services. Anyone have any questions on this? 4C. Anybody? All right, moving along. 4D, the board will consider approving and authorizing the superintendent or designee to enter into the miscellaneous professional service contracts related to the following projects. Project 1, 2018 Cypress Creek High School renovations. HVAC testing and balancing services up to $85,000. Roof inspection services and building envelope up to $250,000. The funding source is the bond funds. Anyone have any questions on that? Anybody? Okay. 4E, the board will consider authorizing the superintendent or designee to negotiate and execute amendments to existing lease agreements between Crown Castle and Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District. Anyone have any questions on that? Mr. Jackson.
And I guess this question would be either for Roy or for Mark. At the November Chamber of Commerce meeting, we had a speaker who talked about that in this area we have a dearth of cell phone towers. And as a result, cell phone usage is often hampered in this area. Do we think that if we approve this, that this will help address the issue of lack of cell phone towers?
Mr. Jackson will certainly help us with maintaining what we have in place now and continuing that continuity in our district. We are currently just having discussions with AT&T right now about some other potential locations to help cover some of the pocket areas that we do have in our district that are not covered. And then on our existing towers, we actually have the ability of adding additional carriers onto those existing towers, which is one of the things we're looking at doing, which not only increases our revenue, but it will also help increase the coverage area and improve our services in that area.
What's the magnitude of the revenue potential of these towers?
Reported to the board last Thursday night. From 2008 to November of this year, we've achieved about $2.2 million of additional revenue that's been placed into our general fund, which has helped, goes back to our classrooms and support our students and our staff.
And so if we did not approve this, Stuart, would this enlarge our budget deficit that we're looking at?
That's correct. $2.2 million is not a small amount to sneeze at, so we would appreciate that.
Very good, thank you.
Anything else? We okay? Okay. 4F, the board will consider approving the attached list of students for off-campus physical education, Category 1, for the 2018-2019 school year, the spring. Does anyone have any questions about this? Anyone? We're okay? 4G, the board will consider approving the calendar committee's recommendation for the 2019-2020 instructional calendar. We had this presented Thursday. Does anyone have any questions on it? Okay. So those are the ones under consent. Can I have a motion?
Mr. President, I move that we approve the consent agenda as recommended and or presented.
Thank you.
I second.
And second from Darcy. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Raise your hand. Lamb, either one.
Aye. Yeah, he said aye. He didn't say
I said
raise
aye.
your hand. Yep,
Hey,
aye.
Darcy, I'm sorry. You always said left hand, and we raised our right hand, so I said both. We got it covered. All right, okay. The board will now proceed with the non-consensus agenda items portion of the agenda. Agenda items number 5A. The board will consider approving construction of proposals and contracts paid from bond funds to the recommended contractors and authorize the superintendent or designee to execute all necessary documents related to such contracts as follows. Number 1, 2018 Spillane Middle School renovations. The budget is from bond funds. The award is $1,864,000 to Purcell Construction. Number 2, the proposal's 2018 Cypress Creek High School renovations. The budget is from bond funds. The award is $9,389,283 and awarded to Gamma Construction Company. Does anyone have any questions about this? Mr. Jackson? Oh, all right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Should have, let me get a motion first.
I move that the board award these construction contracts to the recommended contractors and authorize the superintendent or designee to execute all necessary documents related to such contracts.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Mr. Jackson?
I guess this is for Matt. As we all know, Cy Creek overflowed. It's okay. And happily, it's supposed to be included. Work on it to diminish flooding is supposed to be included in the bond proposal. Representative Schofield noted that it may take up to 10 years for all of these improvements to be made. 10 years is a long time. How was Spillane and Cy Creek impacted by the flooding from Harvey? And is there any additional work that we should undertake to address the potential impact of flooding?
Neither Spillane nor Cypress Creek High School were impacted by Harvey. There was no flooding. Neither lie within the 100-year or 500-year floodplain, so there was no additional mitigation on these projects.
Did we have any water infiltration from the roof or other areas?
No, not at either school.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Are we okay? Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. And it's unanimous. Thank you. Number 5B, the board will consider approving the campus and district performance objectives for 2018-19 campus and district improvement plans. Can we have a motion, please?
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Trustees approve as submitted the campus and district performance objectives for the 2018-19 campus and district improvement plans.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Jackson, thank you. Any questions?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Jackson?
I did notice my colleague Christine Hartley's question and answer from last Thursday when I saw it online, but just a little follow-up. Do we believe that these individual CIPs as well as the DIP, that they in fact correlate to the document that the board refers to as the board monitoring goals? And then secondly, to enhance mastery level, do we believe that we have curriculum in place, or do we have plans to put curriculum in place that will help us achieve the mastery which is identified in the CIPs.
So to your first question, yes, they do align to the board monitoring system. And then to your second question, we do have curriculum in place to help our campuses, our students move to the master's level. And every year we review and we revise that curriculum to ensure that we're on the right path.
And if I remember correctly, the state has changed the manner in which it evaluates mastery because there's a growth component.
That is correct.
So would you explain a bit about how that change impacts a student who may achieve mastery, but still may be considered not advancing?
Absolutely. I'm going to ask Dr. Claiborne to share that with you.
Thank you.
Good evening. So your
Good evening.
question is it possible for a student to reach the master's level but not show growth?
Correct.
In the state accountability system, all students who are at the master's level, no matter what, are automatically given 1 point of credit, if you will, for the accountability system. And typically, if you have a student that scores in the master's level, from 1 year to the next, they could score at the very top, perhaps getting all questions correct, and maybe drop just a little bit and maybe miss 2 questions. But they're not necessarily losing their quote-unquote growth target for accountability or for the student, really, because they're still in that range.
So as long as the student maintains presence in the mastery level, they will not be, the school itself will not be penalized by the state and the state assessment.
That is correct.
Excellent, thank you.
Anything else? Ms.
That's
Jackson?
my question.
Christine?
I asked mine on Thursday.
Darcy? Okay. Just one thing for you, Dr. Linda. Sorry. When I was reading over, and just if you're looking at your pages, you'll notice there's 1,000 pages of the CIPs, which is just amazing that we as a board get to view this. So from a non-statistical person, when you say you're doing data digs, can you, without getting real deep, tell me what your principals and your leaders are doing in the schools? What are they looking for?
As you know, we are a data-rich district, and our campuses receive data after every checkpoint or district progress monitoring type assessment and or the STAR assessment. And so our teams, our grade level teams, will meet together during an assigned time from the principal, and they will actually go through every aspect of the data. So they'll look to see how each of the different subgroups did, for example. They'll dig even deeper to see how many questions away an individual child is and in what areas they still need more support so that they can plan the additional tutoring or support for them. So they are literally digging the data. They're digging as deep as they can, all the way down to not just the classroom, not just the content area, but to the child to see where it is that we need to provide additional support.
Okay. Y'all, that's public school education at their best. Thank you very much. We do have a motion, don't we not? So all in favor, say, raise your right hand.
Say raise your right hand.
Raise your right hand.
That's why I don't do this job well.
We're gonna catch a break.
5C, we're going to move that to the end, and we're going to skip over and go to number 6, which is superintendent's briefing. Dr. Henry.
Thank you, Mr. Covey. Before I start the briefing, I'd like to recognize a couple of folks. She came in just a second late, but we've got our wonderful Chamber of Commerce Executive Director, President, CEO, Leslie Martone back there, so certainly wanted to recognize her. And then I'm also proud to have one of our newest state representatives here, Mr. John Rosenthal over here, and several of his staff members. And we're glad that he's here today. And I can tell you that he's already reached out to us as a leadership team, and Ms. Hull and I have already met with him a couple of times, and we've exchanged phone numbers, so we're excited about being able to work with Mr. Rosenthal in the state legislature over the next 2 years. So thank you for being here this evening. The fall graduation for the Winfern School of Choice will be held on Thursday, December 20th at 7 p.m. at the Berry Center. I would like to commend these students for all their hard work and their parents and the Winfern staff for this great accomplishment. December 24th through January 4th, all campuses and the Instructional Support Center will be closed to the public for the holidays. Classes will resume on Monday, January 7th. Additionally, Monday, January 21st will be a student and staff holiday honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. If there is an emergency to report during the holidays, please contact CFPD at 281-897-4337. Certainly, I would like to extend my warmest holiday wishes to everyone. I hope everyone will be safe, and I think it's probably the best time of the year to enjoy family and friends, and just wish everyone a safe and restful, joyous holiday season. Having said that, with the upcoming holidays, we would like to remind our residents that Texas law prohibits the discharge of fireworks on CFISD property. So if you're celebrating New Year's, please do not do that on CFISD property. We do patrol our district premises pretty often, so we want you to have a safe and happy holiday season, and we don't want any buildings damaged or burned down. So thank you and happy holidays to all.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. Now we'll go back to 5C. The board will consider approving the superintendent's resignation to give notice to Candace Thompson that is proposed her employment with the district under the term contract be terminated. It is further recommended the president of the board notify the nurse of the proposed action to terminate her employment pursuant to 21.211 of the Texas Educator Code. May I have a motion to go into closed session?
I move we go into closed session.
Thank you, Don. A second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Right
Raise hand. Aye. Wink
Okay,
and
we are
tongue.
going to go into closed session, and we'll be in there, and then we'll come back out and close the meeting. Appreciate you being here. If you want to hang around, help yourself. Otherwise, have a very Merry Christmas and a very safe Christmas. Thank you. Y'all ready to go in?
Yeah.